I'm Allison from Learning at the Primary Pond. I'm a literacy specialist, and in this video, I'm going to give you some guidance on what to do when your students encounter roadblocks in comprehending text. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love for you to do that now, and then also hit the little bell so that you don't miss out on any of the brand new videos I post about teaching literacy. First of all, what is comprehension? Well, comprehension is sometimes talked about as if it's one thing, but the reality is it's a set of really complex skills that are happening in our brains almost instantly for us as skilled readers. And these processes allow the reader to understand at a literal level, but also to think deeply about a text. Reading comprehension is believed to be essentially the same task as listening comprehension, right? So if a student can, understand a text when it's being read aloud to them, in theory, they should be able to also understand the text if they're reading it. Now, obviously, decoding issues can get in the way, but in this video, we're focusing exclusively on comprehension because comprehension is the point of reading, right? Like when our kids leave our classrooms one day and they go on to the upper grades, they go on to, high school and have careers, they need to understand that email that they got from their boss. They need to, if they're fixing something at home, be able to read the directions to be able to fix it, right? To use whatever tools they're reading. And so in K2, which I know that a lot of you watching teach K2, we tend to spend a lot of time on the fundamental building blocks of decoding. And sometimes comprehension kind of gets a little less attention. And then all of a sudden in like 3rd through 5th, it starts getting more attention. But the reality is that we need to focus on comprehension even before the kids can really read a lot on their own throughout kids' elementary school careers, because it's just such an essential set of skills and it's hard. So they need to start practicing, right, at a level that's appropriate for them. If you're looking for ways to have your students improve their comprehension, to help them with their comprehension, just type help in the comments so that I know that you are on board and you're ready to help them improve. And also, there's going to be a link in this caption that has a completely free training on comprehension that you might want to watch. So you can grab that again after you finish watching. Link is in the caption of this video. Okay, let's go over some big picture best practices. Again, comprehension is one of those things where it's a complex set of skills. So obviously we're not going to be able to cover every single little thing in this video, but I want to talk about some best practices. So first of all, we want to make sure that we're developing oral language and vocabulary, because again, reading comprehension, fundamentally the same task as listening comprehension. If you don't understand what is being spoken aloud orally, then you're very unlikely to understand what you're reading. And then if the other thing with vocabulary, if you don't know what the words mean in a text, then you're not very likely to understand what the text is saying. Vocabulary has been shown to impact comprehension, so that is important too. Another piece of this is to build students' comprehension regardless of what they can decode, okay? If they are in kindergarten, we're still working on comprehension. Even if they can't read, they're just learning their letters. If they are a 4th grader who is very behind in reading and struggling, we're still working with them on comprehension, okay? Kids should not be limited to working on comprehension with text they can decode. This is especially true of struggling readers because if they can't decode, that means that they are losing out on comprehension instruction, okay? So the way to do this is just to read aloud things to students or have them listen to books on tape, recorded books. Books on tape is probably an outdated term, but you know what I mean. Book recordings, audio recordings. And so we need to make sure that we're working on comprehension and exposing them to those complex texts, even if it's just through listening, because in time, as they improve their decoding, they will be able to apply those skills to reading comprehension. Another best practice, and this is true of readers really, and we're talking elementary grades at any stage, is to work on literal and inferential comprehension. Literal comprehension is just, did they understand the text? Did they know the events in the story? Did they understand the facts that the author was trying to teach them? Whatever pertains to that text, did they get it on a basic level, okay? So often we're encouraged, do that, higher level thinking, all that, those complex questions, and start doing it when they're young. And those inferential questions, which require readers to make inferences and read between the lines, like, why did the character feel that way, right? Stuff like that. That is very important. However, we need to make sure that our kids have a basis in understanding what the text says first. So that's something you might want to mention if your administration is really pushing like the higher level questioning. Well, if you look at Bloom's taxonomy, like it can be represented in a pyramid, right? And if the bottom part of the pyramid is not there, that foundational literal comprehension, then we can't move up. So when I'm planning questions for my kids about a text, whether it's small group or whole group, I always start with the literal. I want to make sure that they can retell. I want to make sure that they can retell without me constantly prodding them and, moving them along. I want to teach them to do it pretty independently. And I also want to make sure that they get the main points of the text so that then we can build on that and work on inferential skills. And then the last strategy that I want to share, the last tip, is to teach comprehension strategies explicitly. There is value, and research has shown it, that when we, take a strategy like asking questions and we model it, we break it down for kids, we give them guided practice, we release responsibility to them, this helps them use strategies on their own. This is by no means the only type of comprehension instruction that you want to do, because kids have to have background knowledge and they have to know vocabulary and, other things, but teaching comprehension strategies has been shown to be effective, okay? All right, I hope this was helpful. To get free access to this comprehension video and go even more in depth, check the caption. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope that this was helpful to you. Before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.